Hello, and thanks for tuning in for this episode of AWS Edge Innovation Spotlight. In this series, we showcase groundbreaking innovation and real-world success stories from our customers to demonstrate the power of how you can accelerate your business at the edge of the cloud. My name is Christopher Jen, and I lead the AWS Edge go-to-market for security services business. Today, I am delighted to be here in our London studio with Ronan Odhulling, VP of Engineering for Cloudsmith.
Hi, Christopher. Thank you for having me.
So, Ronan, please tell us about your company and what specific problems you're trying to solve today.
So Cloudsmith is an enterprise-grade artifact management platform. We're built natively on the cloud, and we service enterprise customers. So our customers are from a variety of different industries, from AI to FinTech, from airlines to supermarkets. They're all building software, and they're building software at scale. They're building software hundreds of times a day. And they're using software binaries. They're using open source packages. They're using container images. They're using operating system configurations, data models, a variety of different software binaries that that's their software supply chain, and they're using those to build their solutions. And what we do is provide them a control plane so that they understand and control what's coming into that supply chain, and they can trust that it's secure and it is what it says it is. And we do that for organizations worldwide. We process petabytes of artifact data every month. We're growing rapidly, and we are built on AWS.
Tell me why choose AWS to build the stack?
So we're solving problems of complexity and scale for our customers. And AWS provides the core capabilities to allow us to do that. It provides the compute capability and the global scale capability to allow us to serve these large enterprise customers. Some of whom are using legacy solutions or inbuilt solutions that are no longer serving their need, and they are unreliable. Their developers are losing more and more time to systems that have gone down, which is a productivity loss, and they're frustrated. And we provide an artifact management platform that gives them that reliability, it gives them that scale, and gives them that performance. So they know that they can trust that it's going to do what they need it to do.
So you do use edge services, and I think you were talking about the scale and why you can choose many different pieces of the AWS stack. Why choose the edge services for your business?
Yeah, we've chosen a wide range of the AWS services. The edge is absolutely critical to us. So Cloudsmith has always was created as a business to deliver value to developers that are all over the world. And we're serving up software artifacts, millions of software artifacts to our customers. And those engineers are spread in far and wide. Their systems are spread far and wide. You might have an engineering team based in Europe and a CI/CD platform that's based somewhere in North America, for example. So the latency across the network matters. So we want to make sure that we're serving up those artifacts as quickly as possible, as reliably as possible to those software engineers in the build system that need it. And AWS Edge Services allows us to do that. So at a basic level, and CloudFront is our provides 600 points of presence. So CloudFront gives us that global reach and allows us to deliver those packages reliably and very quickly. We are using Lambda Edge to authenticate requests that come in and intelligently route them, again with speed as a core objective. Every millisecond counts when you're building software at scale. You're building software multiple times a day, and you've got thousands of artifacts to build in. Each of those milliseconds counts. So we seek to optimize, particularly at the edge, as much of that processing as possible, and make sure our distribution policies are in place again to optimize for speed and for reliability.
You said you have enterprise customers. Do you think they're more demanding of this performance as you've grown?
Enterprise customers have enterprise needs, have large needs. They're building more software. They've got a lot more diversity in terms of the number of package formats that they support. Typically, our enterprise customers will have 10 to 12 different technology stacks. Some groups using Python, some using OR, some building data models, and they all need these capabilities to make sure that the open source software and the models are available to them and secure. And Cloudsmith provides that common platform, so those customers can have visibility and control across all those different technology stacks. What we found with enterprise customers as well is that at the proliferation of AI and the speed at which software is being developed now, there's more software to build. And they have found that they don't want to spend their time managing and maintaining those platforms internally. They turn to Cloudsmith, a cloud native vendor, to do that for them.
Culture is really important to have being the right people to be able to adapt quickly to all these challenges you're going to face. Tell me about the culture of cloud security. What is the secret sauce?
So I've long been a believer that culture is the platform to success in any product development team. Very proud of the engineering and the company culture that we've built at Cloudsmith. First of all, the solutions we have are by developers for developers, or by engineers for engineers. So that's something that is deeply ingrained in everything that we do, and how we collaborate with our customers, how we interact with each other as well. We operate with a high degree of openness and transparency. What we do is hard, it's complex. So we operate with that curiosity and literally a no blame culture. We take ownership when things don't go right and figure them out and learn from them. And that transcends into how we work with our partners like AWS, and our customers as well. When things go wrong, we call it out, we let them know. And most often we've kind of fixed those issues before our customers even knew about them. So that our culture that has allowed us to scale as a business as well. We operate and embrace the principle of assuming positive intent. So when something seems a bit awry, might be operationally within the business, by assuming that positive intent, you can very quickly go, okay, well, that was a decision that was made being the right decision at the time, or didn't have full access to full information, and allows us to get over those things quicker. So it's a very healthy, open, transparent culture fundamentally based on trust.
Yeah. I think your software is supporting mission critical software developers, and you need to create a culture that can respond to that high pressure situation. So how has the use of your AWS technology helped you solve customer problems?
So our customer problems are typically those of complexity and scale. The solution that we've built on AWS allows us to serve tens of millions of requests from build systems and from IDEs and from engineers every day. We serve petabytes of artifacts every month, and that's growing 3x already this year. And that we've been able to do that with a reliable underlying network that's provided by AWS. Our customers can rely on that. They know that where their build systems are spiking in terms of requests, they know that Cloudsmith can handle that. And Cloudsmith can handle it because we're built on AWS and the edge services that are part of that solution. Like, we use CloudFront for distributing all those petabytes of artifacts and distributing them as close to where the requests are made as possible. We use Lambda Edge to intelligently route those requests, do authentication, and to make sure that we are serving those packages up as quickly as we can. Every millisecond counts when you're building a software 100 times a day, and you've got 1,000 packages in each of those builds. All that time adds up. So we spend a lot of time optimizing that, and we do that typically at the edge. And the WAF, we live in a world, unfortunately, where there are many malicious actors trying to attack our software systems, and WAF helps us to block that and secure and make sure we're delivering those artifacts securely too. Great. So ultimately, our customers can rely on high scale, elasticity, the ability to handle spikes, less downtime, less productivity issues, happier engineers, less phone calls to say platform is down, I can't do my build. And it's the combination of the platform that we've built and the technologies we've chosen from AWS to do that.
I think on the edge side, we really focus on reliability and throughput and performance. And so helping customers like yourself deliver that is really what we live and breathe day in and day out. AI is permeating through the industry, and developers, like everyone else, are adopting it, whether in their tooling, whether in their packages. How have you seen that affect, the people you're supporting and the type of business changes?
Yeah, so as you say, AI is changing everything for us as software engineers. We have AI is another package format in one respect for us. So we've got 29 other package formats. So AI is a natural extension. We support integration with Hugging Face and SageMaker and the tooling in Cloudsmith, so that those machine models and data sets they can be scanned and have full control and visibility and the security associated with them within Cloudsmith, just as they can have with Docker images and Python packages and so on. But they're also different, right? There's the security scan of a Docker image is different from what that means in the ML world, for example. So the things that are still emerging, it's a fast changing ecosystem, and Cloudsmith is there providing the tooling. File sizes alone are much bigger in the ML world, so that has forced us to change some of the way we think about handling those. But again, it's all based on distribution of those files and CloudFront and the Edge network as well. So when there are changes like AI and we adapt to them, we know that we have a partner in AWS who's thinking ahead, who has the services either that can support some of those today naturally or have the underlying capabilities to allow us to build on top of them.
You're saying these new type of workloads, right? They're getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had to change anything in the way you deal with these workloads for customers?
Yes, great question. The nature of ML models that are huge. We synchronize and scan and carry out. We fetch metadata for all of the packages that we download. When you're dealing with a multi-gigabyte model, there are things that we have started to parallelize so that we could fetch that metadata in parallel with pulling the artifact itself, and at the end synchronize it all together. That's something we don't have to do with NuGet packages or with smaller package types. But for ML, those are the kind of things that we need to adjust in terms of our implementation.
What are the primary concerns in your industry in this new age?
There's more software being built. There's so much more software being built. There's so much more software needing to be managed. The threat vectors are increasing. AI is wonderful, and it's creating the ability to create software at a much faster pace and to do much more, and to democratize it as well. But it needs guardrails and golden paths around security and usage of software and how it should be managed, what can be used, what can't be used. And we help solve that for our customers. Malicious actors also have access to the same technology, right? So the frequency of software supply chain attacks and the risk of those is also increasing at an alarming rate that we've never seen before. So the capabilities that we have to apply policies, our customers apply policies within the platform so that their risks are mitigated, and they don't, for example, they can prevent packages that coming into their software supply chain that have a certain risk score, exploitability score, or have recently been published. All of these things, those policies are applied so that the software that comes in and are used by their builders, and they may be software engineers, they may be accountants, but they can trust that those components that their software components that they're bringing in can be trusted and then used to build the solutions they need.
We were talking offline about supply chain and how we were seeing a rising amount of supply chain attack, and now with more software out there, how your solution's really one of the only things out there that is, if you needed to do an audit, It's hard today without a solution like yours.
Absolutely. And you think large enterprise software teams are using lots of different software stacks, each of which have their own levels of vulnerabilities. What we do is enable our customers to have visibility and control over all of that. So if something does happen, there was a software supply chain only last week, and our customers were able to quickly jump on it. They had policies in place, some of them, and others were able to add them very quickly to prevent any spread. And they understood where they were potentially vulnerable. In another world, a software supply attack triggers a panic from a CIO going, where are we using this? Where are we vulnerable? Where are we exposed? And without a platform, without an artifact management platform, it's very hard to be able to answer that question, answer it quickly enough to take action.
Many sleepless nights if you didn't have something like this. Looking ahead, what are the developments and innovations happening at AWS that excite you?
I think more broadly, we want and have a partner in AWS that has us covered across the board. So be it in AI, where we have trusted platforms in Bedrock and SageMaker, and policies around data and how AWS protects our data, our customers' data. That's really important to us. On the edge, we're speaking to the CloudFront team and excited about some of the things that are coming down the track there, and CloudFront for SaaS and some other things that haven't yet been discussed. And I mentioned earlier that every millisecond counts when it comes to software build, and you're doing it at scale. So all of those capabilities to enable us to do more at the edge, to process more at the edge, to process heavier workloads at the edge, all enable us to provide better solutions to our customers.
I think as AI gets proliferated, it's going to be running mission critical places. Having a solution like yours will be critical, or else we won't be able to have them in spaceships and launch in, all the places that we expect it all to proliferate. Why should startups consider edge services?
So if a startup is thinking about a global solution, they want to give the best experience to their users, no matter where they are. And Edge Services delivers upon that. If they need high performance, if performance and delivery are critical to their solution, no matter where those users are, Edge Services can deliver on that too. I think any startup now that isn't thinking globally probably has to ask some questions. So rather than why use Edge Services, I would say why not? Because Amazon's, AWS's business model allows it to start slow and to grow as the business grows and that needs grows. And I think that's what's worked for us, and I think that works for all startups too.
Ronan, I really enjoy talking and understanding more about your business, understanding how it's grown, who you're helping solve. It's been very informative for me, and I'm hoping to have you back again.
Great. Thanks for having me.
And that's a wrap up our conversation with Cloudsmith. Their success story demonstrates the transformative potential of AWS Edge Services in today's rapid digital landscape. Thanks for watching AWS Edge Innovation Spotlight.